things. So that's your overview of the entire system of the software. Do you have any questions or anything? I can.
So does there any, if I'm going to run a NGS library prep, do you have written application for this?
Do we have what?
Written application for specific, like Illumina DNA prep? Do you have an application?
Oh yeah.
For that?
Oh yes. Oh yes. You can see on our. You can see on our brochure and on our website. Can you let's see? Could you move me out to the bigger screen so I can show you? Yes, we have optimized. I've not ever run into any who knows, they may create some kit that I'm not aware of, but I'm not aware of any that we haven't optimized at some point. Illumina is the far and away the market leader when it comes to that. In our main brochure, which you can see on the website, and also we have a separate page on our website where you can see a long list of optimized methods that have been qualified. Many of them have been qualified by Illumina. Illumina's standard is here, flexibility for your applications. You'll see a long list of all these different types of. You'll see a long list of all these of kits here. It's very weird, very hard for me to match this up with
Yep, I got it.
Okay, there's a pretty long list of kits from not only Illumina but from other manufacturers as well. These are qualified programs, so they've been tested, and we've found to produce the same results or better results than you can accomplish when performing the application by hand. That's our benchmark. That's sort of our minimum standard. We're going to be comparable to what we can do by hand, and sometimes we can do substantially better because of the low volume pipetting. We have been able to optimize some programs to work with lower volumes than is standard. It won't work in all situations, but it does work in some situations. So it's something you can discuss with your application support technician if you want to make a change to a program, work with smaller volumes and things like that.
Okay. Is it possible to put like plate readers or PCR module inside epMotion?
Oh yeah, well it is. Eppendorf, well no, it's not on this workstation. It is not designed to be upgraded, and I'll tell you, there's some really good reasons for that. I have I've been doing this for quite a long time, and I've occasionally some people come to us and they have like just gobs and gobs of money. I mean, like I remember a customer came to me and they said we have $400,000 to spend and we got to spend it on one item. Your machine only costs a lot less than that. I think the bundle to do their application was maybe around $100,000 or a little over, and they were like, we don't want to like buy your machine. It seems like we got these machines out there that you can like string together all these different products. You can put together all these different products, and then it can be a little bit more automated. We don't have to be present. We don't have to even be in the lab. We can maybe set it up at night and come back in the morning or whatever stuff. So we hear people. There are some companies that will offer that to you. But I would caution you to think carefully before you go through that, because I have never yet, not once, have I ever gone back to visit those customers, and I do talk to them I talk to these customers all the time, and it never actually works that way. There's always something that requires attention that they didn't. It's very unusual that they will run a machine without actually having an operator present. They may say, well, at the end of the run, we can take it from here and we can put it over there in that plate reader. What does that mean? Okay, that means incorporating rails. Incorporate things that can move off of the deck to another machine, things that can start that on the machine, or things that can take that data or recognize that it's done and then give feedback back to the primary instrument. So there are these incredible complexities. When something fails to work, then it's like, well, what's the cause? You be sure that if you're really just floating in money and you just like, oh, let's just go with this thing that can do all these extra stuff, okay? in a fully automated fashion without us being present. Just be really, really careful that that the one contract covers everything, that one single person can handle it, because each person will tell you the other things causing the problem. And so you'll end up having, the more complex it is, the more problems that you're going to have. Like I said, I constantly talk to people who buy complex workstations, but I've yet to find one where everything worked the way that they wanted it to. Now, we did have a workstation that incorporated a PCR instrument. So we had it. It would sit on the right hand side. Heck, we invented the gradient PCR machine, so why not, right? Um, we were though it did, however, take up a huge amount of deck space. So it severely limited what you could do with the workstation. You either had to greatly increase the size of the workstation in order to do what you wanted to do, or you were stuck with doing just parts of your program and having to change out those things more frequently. That killed the whole purpose of it. It's really very simple to take a plate from here and put it over there and put it back after a moment. That takes only a few seconds. So we decided to remove it. There were also a world of other problems. Okay, imagine this. You put a PCR, you build in the PCR instrumentation, and then now you have to deal with evaporation. Okay, you have to have heated lids, and you have to have something that presses down and applies a seal. Mechanical seals work so much. I mean, mechanical seals work so much better than the than like putting gel pads over the top, and that causes cross contamination. So you end up with cross contamination because now all your stuff, whatever you're putting on there, is contaminated with whatever your samples are, and so that all has to be cleaned before you use the next run. So there's no way to do multiple runs. And if you've ever heated a polypropylene PCR plate inside of a thermocycler, you know how incredibly hard it is to remove that. Well, what we found is that robots don't do that. Do a good job of that, right?
Yeah.
So some people a lot of companies will try to sell you this cool bell and whistle. This cool, oh, we got this cool bell and whistle. We got the thing on the deck and stuff, and it was going to save you that second to go from here to here. It's going to save you the second, put it back, whatever. Think about whether it's really worth. First of all, paying a lot more. Pay more for that. I think most people with integrated PCR machines are paying somewhere in the order of $30,000-$40,000 extra. For their workstation. The fact that unless everything is made by the same manufacturer, you're going to have to deal with everybody else, and everyone's going to say the other company caused the problem. So you're not ever, when the machine breaks, and it will, because the more complex the machine, the more attention, the more problems are going to happen. It's got to be addressed by a single person. There really has to be one single responsible party who can service all the instrumentation that's being integrated with the workstation. So do you see my point? Do you understand my point? It's like it sounds cool. It sounds cool. A lot of people say, that's cool. But in real life, what it is headache, problem. Yeah. Nothing ever works. Nothing ever works the way you do. You can't get it serviced right. And that's just and that is just a nightmare waiting to happen. So we try to, Eppendorf we're really focused on reliability, robust, it's going to work. It does require that you have an employee somewhere on site, somewhere nearby. As I mentioned to you, it does have email notification. So if you put it on a network and you need to do something like move it from one place to another to do a PCR step, we can do that. We also do have solutions for doing your incubations on the deck. So you won't necessarily have to have, you will not necessarily have to have an intervention at all. Many machines, now we got all these PCR-free programs that just have some incubations and that's it. Well, those PCR-free NGS assays, they're coming out with those now, and they're the most popular ones actually. You might consider one, but in these cases, the incubations are done on the deck, and here's how we accomplish that. We have the machine overlay mineral oil, and then have the machine, if you need to have the machine move, the machine can move where you set a one temperature in one position, you have get that to that temperature, and then another one at a different position. So after overlaying with oil, the machine can move move the plate back and forth to these preheated blocks. So this works exactly like if you've been around long enough, like I have, been in the industry for some time. one of the most popular PCR machines in the early days was the Strategene RoboCycler. It was really popular because you had preheated blocks, and the machine simply moved the plate from the annealing temperature to the denaturation temperature. We can do stuff like that. Some people express concerns like, well, but I don't put mineral oil in my
Yeah.
NGS assay, right?
Yes.
You may be
Yeah.
a little worried about that, right?
Yep.
Well, what I want to tell you is that you don't need to worry about that. PCR was always done that way before we had heated lids. Okay, it
That's
works
true.
just fine, and the mineral oil is inert, so you can aspirate right straight through the mineral oil, pull the clean product out, and put it into a fresh plate, and then you're back to having a regular sample with very minimal sample loss. We might put 50 microliters of sample in there, have it overlay with oil, have the incubations occurred, aspirate the liquid out and put it in another one, but you only lose a couple microliters of sample altogether. In the end result, is sometimes better. Like we did get some fabulous results using this method with Illumina. It was the Ribo Zero system, and then they're looking for ribosomal RNA depletion in the step, and we had these fantastic results using this method. I remember being asked, "Is like, how in the world did you do that? How in the world did you do that?" I said, "Well, we did it with mineral oil, and it seems to improve the result." So you can be sure that if you decide to go that route and do some of the incubations on the deck with the mineral oil overlay, it will work to your satisfaction, and you will not have all the extra expense and headaches. Does that make sense?
Sounds great. Yep.
Okay. It's about to wrap it up. Is there any? Do you have any other questions, or is there anything that I could, anything else I could do for you?
No,
We
I
can
think it's
we can
perfect.
we can chat. We can chat later about all your specifications. Kind of put together a quote for you that's appropriate for your needs, and then I'll check back with you
Okay.
after the fact. Is that okay?
Yep.